Hola, hola, hola. Todo bien. Here in the DR, Dominican Republic. How's everybody doing out there? So I'm here in Boca Chica. Actually, I'm in San Andreas, Dominican Republic. My wife's family lives in San Andreas. So San Andreas is about 5 minutes from Boca Chica, and Boca Chica is really the baseball capital in the sense of where the majority of the major league teams are. So there's probably about 15 to 20 of the major league complexes here. And it's just outside of the town. So Boca Chica is a small little beach town for tourists. And just right outside the town, about 10 minutes, you get into the sugarcane fields and you just make your way back through the countryside. And there you see, boom, they just start popping. Yankees, Orioles, Twins, Marlins, they're just lined up. It's amazing. And the Brewers outside of town a little bit, and then the Dodgers, and there's a handful that are not here in Boca Chica. But so I'm here. I've been on an amazing trip, probably the longest trip I've ever done, in the sense of being away from home. So I've been gone since just after Christmas, and I have about a week left before I head back to California. But my wife lives here with our 3-year-old son, Liam. And so we have a place here too. So we just got our visas we've been waiting on for a long time, over 2 years. So congratulations to us. I'm sure all you guys are saying congratulations, so thank you. But yeah, so we got the visas. So that means you guys will be seeing Liam and probably in the future at some camps or some baseball events. So on this journey, I wanted to share a little bit some of the experiences of what I've experienced as a coach. And I've been gone for, it's close to 30 days so far. And I've done about 18 total events. Actually, 18 will be finishing up this weekend. I'll be working with, the plan was to work with Warstick in Texas, in Dallas this Friday, but they ended up getting the word out a little late. So we're going to postpone it and hold off to that hitting event. It's called the Hunter Hitting series, where we'll be teaching the Hunter hitting system that I created over years of really studying hitting and studying the mental game, mindset, approach, attitude of the most elite hitters. You know, what do they have in common and what do they do? And so the camps really has nothing to do with technique. It's real based on approach and attitude and mindset. So we're going to be offering that in the future. And it's a very small venue. Just there's only going to be about 12 players for each session. So just keep your eyes out for that. But that was supposed to be this Friday, but we just canceled it today. So I'm going to end up flying into Los Angeles this Saturday and Sunday to be with the Brewers. And something new that's going on with area codes is they're doing an early identification. So we're doing identification ID camps, which for you guys that are in high school now, I highly suggest that you guys get out to those. One, to get your metrics. It's always good to know where you're at. But two, to be seen by these scouts so you can build a history and build a reputation with these guys, because there's area scouts in your area and they scout your area. So if you live in Monterey, California, and you fly to Arizona, the Arizona scouts are not really watching you. And this is a very important concept to understand, is that when you travel outside of your area from the pro side, now we're not talking college side, colleges can recruit anywhere they want, but typically the non-private schools are not really big on out-of-state players. So if you're thinking Ivy League, Division III, Patriot League, real high academic institutions, going out of state, pretty common. NAIAs, but the private are big on, because they don't have to pay any. There's no out-of-state tuition fee, so they don't lose money from the baseball side. So a lot of the California schools, I'm familiar with schools over the country, but the majority of the schools I've worked with over the years, from the showcases that I've ran for over 15 years, is I would say probably 80% of them from California. And a lot of the California guys are not recruiting out of state because they lose a lot of money when they give you a scholarship, because your tuition, let's just say it's $25,000 tuition. Well, if you're out of state, tuition is another 15. So let's say it's the 40,000 now. If they give you 25% of 40,000, that's a lot more money they have to give out versus 25% for an in-state guy. So understanding from the recruiting side that private schools, academic schools, smaller institutions, yeah, going out of state makes sense. Another piece to add to that for the Division Ones, for being out of state, one of our guys in our town here in Monterey, where I live, when I'm not here in the Dominican, is it's called the WUI, and the WUI offers 50% scholarship money for student athletes, and we're talking the baseball side right now, but the WUI is incredible because like our guy, he lives in Monterey, California, and he's going to be going to Utah, and he received 50%, and it's a grant offered by the government from some of the states, Utah, New Mexico, some of the states in those surrounding areas where they're trying to get more kids from out of state to attend those schools. So they're trying to create some diversity and get kids from all over attending. So they created the WUI, and the WUI is outstanding. What you need is a 3.5 or more, and that's something to really keep in mind. So our guy, he's a 3-sport guy, tremendous athlete. But what happens when you play 3 sports oftentimes is you're behind from the skill side. And as we know, to become an elite hitter, for the most part, I mean, there's a 1% out there that can hit at any time, just roll out of bed and hit. That's a pretty rare human being. Most baseball players, the majority, if not majority all, really have to put the time in. And so when you're playing 3 sports, even though you're athletic and you're talented, you're typically going to be behind the guys that are getting those scholarships and committing early, because those guys are playing, anywhere from 6, 8, 12 months out of the year. So he basically was a little behind in the sense of being polished. So, and also events, a lot of these events, these guys he's training for basketball and football, and a lot of these, these travel ball tournaments, the elite ones, the college coaches are getting the majority of their looks at guys that they're either their own prospect camps or at these elite events. And if you're not showing up, they don't see you because you're playing other sports. Well, it's very challenging because other guys are going before you, because out of sight, out of mind. And so it happened with him, but it's happened with, I could just give you the list, just list them off. Numerous guys. And this is just one sample example of this year. So I reached out to the Utah coach and said, hey, we got a tremendous athlete here. And he said, hey, we got the WUI. Even if we can't get him any baseball money, let's get him in. So it ended up working out for him. And so keep that in mind. But going back to the scouting side, scouts are in an area. So if you're in California, there's Northern California Brewer Scouts. I mean, there's 30 major league teams. So I'm just going to give you an example because I work with the Brewers. Well, there's a Northern California Brewer Scout. There's a Central California Brewer Scout. And there's a Southern California, and then a deep Southern California, which is a little bit deeper, San Diego. So there's basically 4. California's a big state. So if you're out of state and there's a scout watching the game, or some scouts, they're not really watching you unless you're just an absolute superstar throwing 95 plus. Kind of hypothetical, but if you're not doing anything absolutely spectacular, they're not going to take note of you because you're not in their area. But if you're a superstar that's doing something that's not been done, they might turn you in to their scouting director, or to the cross checkers, or get your name back to the area guy from the area you're in. But for the most part, scouts are scouting their area. College coaches, for the most part, are more inclined to stick to in-state players, unless you're from different parts of the country where you have smaller states, like in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, some of those states that are smaller versus California, Texas, right? Big numbers. Much more difficult for a college coach to get out. And also budget-wise, it's very, very expensive, especially for the smaller schools. So not to say that major institutions will not go out of state to recruit, but speaking more so from the California side and the West Coast side, mostly California, most California schools, Cal State Fullerton, UCLA, these schools, USC, they're not typically going too far because they have enough talent in their areas. So here in Boca Chica, I've been on this journey. This journey's been amazing. It's been challenging, one, because of weather. I mean, I went from I started out I started in Monterey, California for Christmas, and then I came out to the Dominican Republic. And Monterey was a little cold. Dominican was 75. And then boom, next trip was Texas. Texas was not bad. And then I went from Texas to Chicago. Chicago was about 5 degrees. And I stayed there for a little bit. And then I went to Kentucky. Then I went to Kentucky to Ohio. And then Ohio, I went somewhere else. And from Ohio, I came back to the DR. So a lot of speaking, a lot of coaching, and a lot of camps. One very interesting piece that a takeaway for you guys. Now let's get a little more into infield play, but some of that information I just shared with you is extremely important information about understanding the perspective of a college coach and a Major League Baseball scout, because I think ultimately the passion for a lot of you guys at some point is to be a professional or sign a national letter of intent with a major institution. And so understanding really how they work, and I want to challenge you to study your craft, study the profession of the men or women that are seeking to find you, right? The college coaches, the pro scouts. Now we have female and male coaching and scouting, so it's not just men anymore. So understand that the more you understand their objectives and their perspective and how they go about their business, it'll help you make choices. It'll give you wisdom in judgment when you decide to do something or not to do something. We had guys early on, running around the country hoping someone would see him. And I'm like, did you know that the schools in Louisiana typically don't have California guys on their roster? I mean, LSU does now because the coach Jay Johnson is a West Coast guy and he just got hired. Well, he's taken a lot of the kids that were committed to the West Coast, and they decommitted and ended up committing to LSU. But for the most part, West Coast kids typically don't play in the east or the southeast because they have their own kids. They got enough kids. So running around at tournaments all over the world, all over the country, isn't necessarily the best approach for trying to find a scholarship. The best approach, I'll just hit this really quickly. The best approach is identifying some institutions that are a good fit for you, and start with the academic side. Start with institutions that you would like to attend, regardless if you played baseball or not, or if you got injured. Would you stay there, and would it be the right fit for you? So you start with that academic fit. And once you find the academic fit, then you go to the financial fit to the athletic fit to the social fit, and realize that the social fit is last, athletic is third, second to last. The most important is academic. Then second would be the financial side. You got to be realistic. Some of these institutions now are $80,000 a year. So, you go for 4 or 5 years, it's almost $500,000. And if you're not getting any baseball money, you're not getting the WUI, right? Or any other major grant or financial aid. You got to be, realistic. It's not just, I hope someone finds me. We have guys all the time in Hawaii that get offers and they have to turn it down because the schools are $60,000, $50,000, $60,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And the coach says, hey, I can get you 25. And the parents are like, that's not working. I mean, it's very common with the guys that we work with on the Big Island. So it's not necessarily, did someone offer me? Is it the right fit? Beginning with the academic fit, second, financial fit. On my journey here, I've had the opportunity just in the last, roughly 4 to 5 weeks, to work with over 500 infielders. 500 infielders. And I would say most infield coaches don't get to work with 500 infielders within maybe even their lifetime. I mean, 500 infielders, that's a lot of infielders. And so what is important to me about that number is that I get to really see the deficiencies across the board, the deficiencies and what is done well, what is not being done well, and what effect does the human element have on an infielder? Just the concept of being human. You're a human being. So does that affect your mindset? Does that affect your attitude? Does that affect your approach? Does that affect your mental makeup? And over the last year, working with over 3,000 infielders, then working in the last 4 to 5 weeks with over 500 infielders, it's the same story. And you see it everywhere. And I would say out of the 3,500 infielders, 3,500 out of 3,500 struggle with this common problem. And, you know, I'm going to address the problem here in a minute. But before I do, if I ask the audience and say, what do you think this common problem is? I would venture to say that not one person would figure it out. I mean, you can go ahead and try to throw up some answers. But what is it? Is it a lack of arm strength, inability to backhand? What is it? Well, no, it's none of that. And I don't know if you guys can, if you guys want to maybe throw out a couple answers. If you can type them on the screen or just actually say them. And if not, I'll just keep moving along. So I'll give it a couple seconds, see if we can get a few answers. Okay, so I'll just fire away. So what it is I'm going to give you two. I call it the two most common flaws of infielders, but it's not just infielders, it's human beings. It's the two most common flaws of human beings, and we're in the world of infield play, so we're going to apply it to infield play, and I see it amongst infielders along with others. The inability to relax, the inability to slow down. Second would be the inability to control their focus, to control the focus. CYF, control your focus. CYF, control your focus. And the reason why I come up with these two is because we do these speed drills at camps. And anytime a player has a stopwatch on them and they're unfamiliar maybe with a drill, or they're competing, or there's an element of time, and the time factor means there's a limited amount of time. What you see, 35 out of 3,500. It's everybody, it's 100%. Every single player plays too fast. And they don't truly understand the law of suave. Slow is smooth, smooth is quick and fast. If you want to be quick and fast, be slow, be smooth, be efficient, be suave. Quick, fast arm, quick, fast feet, quick, fast glove is a product of efficiency of movement and moving smooth. Like water. Like what? Like water. And what happens is across the board. And you saw it in the World Series with the Atlanta Braves, you saw Ozzie Albies. He had a swinging bunt in one of the important innings where they were needing to score a run to tie the game. And we ultimately know the outcome where the Atlanta Braves were the 2021 World Series champions. But what happened is it's the same with the major leaguers. It's the element of being human. And I'm going to talk about the Cheetah Zen just briefly, because that was one of my main topics at these conventions that I've been speaking at. The Zen of the Cheetah, the ability to move fast with tempo, with speed, with urgency, with energy, and move smooth, suave, like water. And that's not being human. When humans are limited with time, they try harder. They speed up. Major problem. World Series, Ozzie Albies, swinging bunt. Left-handed pitcher, the Astros, fields the ball towards the third base line. He cannot get the ball out of his glove because he's trying to move too fast. Now, if that was just a PFP, a pitcher's fielding practice in spring training, he would have thrown him out every single time. He would have had a clean exchange, no bobble, and he would have fired a strike over to first base. But that was the absolute opposite, because now there's pressure. The score matters, right? And there's an element of time with a elite runner running down the line where there's a sense of urgency. And the pitcher cannot be smooth, cannot be suave. Now, this is a major league pitcher making millions of dollars, lacking the ability to be smooth, be suave. Throws to first base, always is safe. Albie takes the lead, and on the next pitch, he steals second base. And when he steals second base, same situation with the catcher. Catcher feels pressure. Catcher cannot get the ball out of his glove. The ball rattles in his exchange, takes 2 to 4 tenths of a second longer, throws a second, always is safe. The ability, the inability, the ability to relax is the key, but the inability to relax is the central issue. How do we master this quality? It's a great question. And we have some strategies that we use with our players. One is train fast. And I'll give you one example of the Dominicans here. I just was driving here down to the beach because the connection at the house is not very good. And I saw 5 people on a moped, and it's nighttime. 5 people, it's a whole family. And on the front of the moped, on the gas tank, is a little baby. And that little baby moves fast daily. And moving on that moped with the chaos of the traffic, the bumpy roads, the no stoplights, and the stop signs that don't exist either. No stop signs. Rarely is there a stoplight, and if there is, most people don't stop. So you have absolute chaos. And that little baby, months old, calm mind, slow heart, relaxed body, as the motorcycle moves fast. The motorcycle is actually moving slow because the baby is used to that speed. So how do we develop that comfort, that calm? CSR is the acronym CSR, calm, slow, relaxed. How does that baby have the ability to be calm mind, slow heart, slow heartbeat? Excuse me. And a relaxed body? It's because its normal is that speed. It moves fast. And when you move fast on a regular basis, especially out of your comfort zone, that becomes your new comfort zone, becomes your new normal. So one of my questions for you is, how fast do you train? Now, obviously, you can't start fast. You want to build into it because you got to get your form down, find your mechanics, and then you start speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And the more you can add a stopwatch, you practice faster than the game will slow down. And very few humans do that. And if they do it, they might do it on occasion, not enough. Brush your teeth on an occasion, not enough. Doesn't work. It's built into your training on a day in, day out basis. Stanford University had the opportunity to work with Stanford for the last 20 years. And I've been helping them with their prospect camps over the summer, working with over 100 colleges in the summer. They're at the camps plural, serving as an instructor and getting to meet almost 1,000 kids. I mean, it's the biggest prospect camp in the country. And there's 3 of them back to back to back. There's about 400, 300, 200. So that's 4, 7. It's almost 1,000 campers. And there's about 150 college coaches that work the event. And one thing I learned from Stanford years ago, early on, this was probably 19 years ago when I started, was they do something called live infield, and they do it on a regular basis. They do it every day. And they have the outfielders hitting ground balls off BP, and the infielders are playing it live with a base runner. So they got a base runner, that hitter, he's hitting a ground ball, hit and run. He's going home to first. On the second swing, he runs. And those infielders are working game speed. Real game speed, the base runner's on a stopwatch, so they're getting his time home to first to make sure he's going full speed. And those infielders are working fast. And they do that every single day, every day. Well, why do you think the game slows down? Because that's their normal. Most players take fungos, put it in a bucket. Half the other players don't even take fungos. They just do drills. So drills, no fungos. And the other guys do some drills and some fungos, but no throws. Then the other guys do drills, fungos, and throws, but with no runner or no stopwatch. There's a small few that incorporates the watch and makes it a priority, makes it their normal. That's their process. That's how they train. Speed. And the ability to control your focus, your ability to control your focus, tremendous challenge. And once you start to understand the mind, and I want to challenge you, baseball players and coaches and parents, but I really want the players to understand that they are the mechanic. You're the mechanic, and your mind is the engine. So who has to fix it? You do. And we talk about the 12-second bounce back. Well, here in the DI, they got the 1SWB. It's the 1 second bounce back. They can get their minds right in 1 second. They're elite mechanics, elite. They don't sweat the small stuff. An error is the small stuff. That's small stuff. I mean, it's amazing how we blow it up, we make it big, and then we can't get to the next pitch. 1 second, bounce back, control your focus. And if you're still thinking about the error that you just made, you have the inability to control your focus. CYF, control your focus. My ability to be present. So you're the mechanic. Your mind is the engine. Your thoughts, the fuel. The thoughts fuel the engine. And you, the mechanic, have to adjust your thinking, because your thinking moves that engine. That's your mind. Your mind moves your body. So if you want to be successful on the field, you want to be in peak performance. If you want to play at total performance, if you want to be at that level of play, you have to have the ability to clear and be present. And that is a tremendous challenge. And the greatest way to do it is to change your perspective, your interpretation of what happens, not what happens. It's not what happens to you, it's your interpretation of what happens to you. So the player next to me, when he makes an error, he has a hard time. It takes him probably maybe a whole inning to get his mind right. Or he might even have to get a hit to get his mind right. Okay, now I'm good to go. Or he might have to get a couple plays under his belt to get his mind right. Well, that's too long. So that guy right there, when he makes an error, that's how he responds. And that's my third baseman. I'm playing shortstop. I got my second baseman. Okay. When he makes an error, he can't forget about it for a few days, if not a couple games. So it's kind of wearing in the back of his unconscious mind. And it's just rattling back there, and he can't get rid of it. So he's playing yellow. The light's yellow. It's not green. And then there's the shortstop from the DR, Boca Chica. He makes an error. Within 1 second, he can't even remember, because he's ready to make the next play. It has no effect on him, because he knows that elite players make errors. And when they do, it's just a part of being elite. Look at Omar Vizquel, the greatest of all time. Look at Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith's fielding percentage, the best it ever was 985. He played approximately 18 years. His best was 985, so he averaged around 970s. Okay. That means he had about 25 errors a year. Hall of Famer, one of the greatest. Omar Vizquel, his average was 985. So he's in the 985 to 990s. And he's making 10 to 20 a year. Understand that elite players make mistakes. It's your ability to get back and present on the next pitch, your ability to control your focus. So when those guys are in the line and I'm observing them when we're doing these speed drills with the stopwatch, they're competing, okay, what happens is they're thinking about the stopwatch. They're thinking about the other guy's score. They're thinking about their last score. They're thinking about how they're not sure if they're good enough. They're thinking about their arm, how it kind of hurts. They're thinking about technique. They're thinking about all kinds of stuff. That's called being caught in between. No bueno. The double-minded player receives and accomplishes virtually nothing. Get your mind right. Be present. When you understand that elite players are not perfect, it's imperfect perfection. When you can grasp that and you can rest with the concept of the complete player and the complete player's contribution to the game, it's not about did you make every single play and get every single hit and score every run. It's not about that. It's today I made an error, but I scored 3 runs. I got walked twice. And I was the best teammate in the dugout. That's the true difference maker. It's finding a way because you have a different perspective, because you interpret adversity different than the rest. That means you have the ability to control your focus, because the circumstances do not control you. Most people get overwhelmed, making mistakes. You get underwhelmed. Came up with that one yesterday. Underwhelmed. And that baby on the gas tank driving at 45 miles an hour through the streets of the Dominican, bumps and speed bumps and chaos. Underwhelmed. No effect. That baby has rhythm in the chaos. That father driving that moped has rhythm in the chaos. You have to find rhythm in the chaos by controlling your focus. Control your focus. So the two, write them down. What I want you to do as a player and also as a coach and a parent, understand that, and understand that those are the issues, the true issues. The ability to relax, the ability to be suave, smooth. 5GS stands for fifth gear suave. Fifth gear suave is moving at fifth gear. That means at top speed, fifth gear. You're moving at fifth gear and you're moving smooth, suave, fifth gear suave. So it's called 5GS, 5GS. So as you understand the challenges of your players and even as yourself, anytime you as a parent or a coach, sense or feel or are running out of time, what happens? Your ability to relax becomes challenged. And you're going to notice yourself, we got practice in 10 minutes. I got to still do my practice plan. Boom, everything speeds up. Your ability to slow the game down as the game speeds up, fifth gear suave, everything is moving fast around you, but you have the ability to slow the game down because you're in control of your focus and you're in control of what you can control. CTC, control the controllables, control what you can control. These acronyms, 1SBB, 1 second bounce back, CSR, calm, slow, relax, GYMR, get your mind right, 5GS, fifth gear suave. These acronyms need to be memorized. As you memorize them, you will be transformed in your thinking. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's from the Bible. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Cease without praying. That means cease, never stop praying, meaning talking to God, talking to yourself, continually self-talking with positive self-talk. And that's what acronyms do. They're so powerful. Acronyms are deep because you can say them fast and they say volumes. 5GS, it says volumes. It took me less than 1 second, 5GS. The ability to move, tempo, speed, quickness with energy and urgency, slow, smooth, suave. That's 5GS, the baby on the moped. I'm going to say those acronyms again in case you didn't get them. CSR, calm, slow, relaxed. It's calm mind, slow heart, relaxed body. GYMR, get your mind right. 1SBB, 1 second bounce back. 5GS, fifth gear suave. And the law of suave, slow is smooth and smooth is quick and fast. If you want to be quick and fast, slow is smooth and smooth is quick and fast. You want to be quick and fast. Be slow, be smooth, be suave. Quick, fast arm, quick, fast feet, quick, fast glove. Quickness and speed on the diamond is a product of efficiency of movement, slow, easy, efficient movements. Smooth, suave. Any questions on those before we keep moving along here? Can someone give me a nod just to make sure this recording is still good? Because I can't see anybody's faces. And want to make sure that we are still good to go. Just making sure you guys are still there. Could someone give me a little shout out? Hola, hola. Okay, well, I'm going to assume everybody's there. I'm going to keep rolling. So that's a common theme. And, speaking about that at these conventions, I have the opportunity to speak to thousands of coaches and TMT, KMT, TMT is another great acronym. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Well, we as coaches don't know what the main thing is. And we spend so much time focusing on technique and things that seem to have importance, but don't necessarily have the importance we give it. And the two that I just gave you, right, a few minutes ago was CYF, control your focus. That's another acronym, CYF, control your focus. And the ability to control your focus and the ability to relax, slow down, be smooth under speed or under time restraints, under pressure. Those are absolutes. Those are the main thing. And as you're working with your players, read their body language, read them. And now that this is like in the forefront of your mind, and you say, hey, this is like really important. This is key stuff. You're going to start looking for it, and you're going to see it. And you're going to see how players are on a rhythm. They're double-minded, and they're not relaxed. And if your body's not relaxed, your body's out of sequence. All the hard work you put in practice does not translate to the game. If you're tense, if there's tension in your body. That's why the goal of the Olympians, the goal of the elite Olympians, the ones that win golds, they understand that their ability to relax is the secret. Because all the work they put in will come out. The body will self-organize. The body will organize to what you prepared it to be prepared for. All of that work you put in will come to fruition because you're relaxed and you're controlling your focus. But if you don't control your focus and you have tension in your body, no matter how hard you worked and how much attention to detail you paid, it doesn't make any difference. It does not translate because tension is the enemy of athleticism and the enemy of being present. So after Christmas, we did some camps in Texas. I stayed in Texas, and I had the opportunity to work with some outstanding players, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. We're going to be, it looks like at some point over the next year, we're going to build an infield in Texas. It's in Houston, and I'll give details more later as it comes to fruition. But I have an indoor spot, and I have a field, so it's going to be home of Trosky Infield, and very exciting. And this place in Houston is where a lot of the major leaguers train in the off season, in the winter, getting ready for spring training. And so I was there working with some professionals, some big leaguers, and first rounder, infielder, a couple first rounders, Freddie Freeman's backup, which might be take Freddie's job now. I'm not sure where Freddie ended up, or I haven't been keeping up. I've been on this tour here. So if anybody knows where Freddie is now, he's been traded. Give me a shout out there. So anyway, so working with these guys, going back to the concept of CYF, control your focus, CSR, calm, slow, relaxed, same issue. The big leaguer, he's 23 years old. He's been in the big leagues for 2 years. And he struggles with his defense. And I think there's a really important point just right off the top to understand is that just because you're a major leaguer does not mean you're a plus defender. It doesn't even mean you're a good defender, because there's 5 physical tools and everybody's drafted for, they have a carrying tool. So his carrying tool is a hit tool, and power tool. He's got 2 carrying tools. It's the hit tool, power tool. It's 2 tools. So run, hit, field, throw, hit for power. You have 5 physical tools. It's rare to find a 5-tooler, right? Very rare. You look at a guy like Trey Turner, he can run, he can throw, he can field, he can hit. I don't know what his power numbers are, but I don't think he's hitting 30. I don't think he's hitting even over 20. And if he is, correct me if I'm wrong, but so I would say he's probably a 4-tool guy unless he's raking those home runs. But I don't recall him being a home run guy. I mean, you look at Lindor, he's not a 5-tooler. He has an above average arm, but he doesn't have a plus arm. So he doesn't have a plus arm. He's not a plus runner. He's a good runner. He's a plus defender, plus hit tool, plus power tool. So he's like a 3-tool guy. So just thinking about the big leaguers, the best in the world, right? Very seldom do you find a 5-tooler. And oftentimes now, especially in today's game, the defense is the most neglected. And I'm down there in Houston working with these pro guys, and they have nobody to work with, literally. And this is the problem across the whole United States. That's one reason why this infield membership is so important. And like Tony said, if you guys came on late, week 16 will be out. It should be out tonight. We had a problem with our camera guy. he broke his leg. He fell in the snow and he broke his leg, and then they were calling for surgery, and he's been staying in the hospital for a long time, and then he wasn't able to do any work. So anyway, so he's doing better now. And then my phone broke the last week. It wouldn't let me download any of my videos. And so anyway, so it's been a challenge, but we got everything done, and 16 will be out, and it's good stuff. So you'll enjoy it, no doubt. But going back to the big leaguers don't have people. There's no real infield guys, or you can't find them, guys. And so this membership is very special, and that's the reason why we created it, because the information, I mean, you could find a guy randomly to hit some ground balls, but rarely can you get a guy to hit some good, some good clean ground balls that are working backhand, forehand, neutral, and slow rollers, right, consistently, and also making throws across the diamond with a stopwatch. I mean, that's elite work. Well, that's hard to find. And then let's just talk about all the drill work, developing your hands and your feet and your eyes and your judgment, recognition, right? Excuse me, I get the allergies over here. It's weird. I'm in the tropical, and I get the same allergies I get in USA. So just talking to Nick Madrigal's dad. Nick Madrigal's the new second baseman for the Chicago Cubs, and he's first round draft pick out of Oregon State. Great Nick Madrigal story. When Javen, my nephew, was there on his visit, is just finishing his 9th grade year. They were playing in Oregon, and there was, one reason why he wanted to go there is because they draw incredibly well. I mean, they got about 3,500 fans. They had to build a whole new section in the outfield because they have so many fans. People are just diehards, right? I mean, it's like the big league team. I mean, these guys are heroes, and it's a blast. And the energy there was ridiculous. We go to the West Coast games, go down to Cal Poly, Santa Clara, Fullerton, SC. I mean, there's a handful of people in the stands. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands. I mean, it's amazing. Anyway, so, Javen, we were talking to the coaches, they took us around, and then we walked up to the stands, and Oregon State and Oregon were getting warmed up, and Nick came out of the stand. He came off the field into the stands as he was warming up, and he ran up, and there was really not that many people there yet because it was well before the game. And he said, "Hey, Nate, Javen, good to see you guys. And Javen, congratulations." And he gave him his batting gloves, man. It was really cool. But talking to Nick's dad, and I want to give you guys an idea of kind of how I work. I'm a seeker, and I never stop asking the same questions because you get different answers from different people. There's not necessarily one formula. I mean, there's truth in life, and there is truth, but everything isn't black and white. Everything. There is black and white, but there's also gray. And styles and approaches, gray for many. I mean, just talk to big league hitters. Talk to Juan Soto, talk to Mike Trout, talk to Aaron Judge. I mean, different styles, right, that work. You can get really good at a style, but there are styles that are more efficient, and there are sometimes black and whites where you say, this is the way to do it. So I asked his dad about two-strike hitting. I called him and said, Mike, what is Nick's approach? He called me back and said, man, so he went through his approach. And he was saying Nick's down there with, his buddies, and they're in Nick's dad, goes down there and works with the guys when he has time. But it's like, these are big leaguers. And it's like, where's the elite infield guys down there just working you out for hours, just getting, elite work in where you're getting better, you're challenging your feet, your hands, your eyes, and your mind. That's hard to find. And when I was in Texas, there was no infield guy. This is at the premier complex. It's one of the premier complexes there where the majority of the big leaguers are trained. There's like 50 big leaguers there. And the hitting guy goes, Nate, we need you here, man. We need you to work with these infielders. And these guys are all pros and big leaguers, minor leaguers. And so anyways, take advantage, be excited about the membership and all the drills, all the details. I'm here in the Dominican. I worked with a group of kids today. No clue about footwork. None. The Dominican developed, the greatest infielders in the world per capita. And confused. I can't even get them to understand how to come and get a ball one-handed with glove leg back. No concept. And I watched the trainer for years, and he played in the minor leagues years ago, but he doesn't really understand teaching, teaching the intricacies of, infield play. So take advantage, get your work in. One of the keys that helped the big leaguer, I'm not going to give you his name because I want to just keep it confidential, but I'm just going to call him the big leaguer. So the big leaguer, one of the biggest areas he struggled with, well, I'm going to give you two. And he's second in the big leagues with errors. So he's not a premier. His glove tool is not his carrying tool. He's below average. And I would say there's high school guys that feel better than he does. They're not as physical, and they probably don't have the arm he has, but skill wise, better. Putting a high school guy in the big league stage, they would have no chance. They would crumble. Pressure, nervousness, CSR, comp cell relax, no chance. Fifth gear swabbing, no chance. You got Trey Turner running down the line, they would not even really get the ball in their glove. So there's different qualities, but this overall skill, not the comfort level, but the skill was lacking. And what we did was, in this week, when you get 16 out, which you should have tonight or tomorrow, the workout is about posture. And this big leaguer said he had 6 infield coaches in the last 2 years, and none of them addressed it. And they're all kind of giving him confusing information, and he was confused. There's nothing worse than being confused. It's better to have no coaching and have a free mind than have a bunch of clowns in your ear confusing you. And so he was confused. And then he said after a while, they just got tired of trying to help him. So they would just say, hey, watch the Dominicans, watch the Latin guys. You figure it out. He's like, dude, come on, man. I can't just figure it out by watching the Latin guys. So what we did was we made an adjustment in his posture. We elevated his butt, so he had higher hips, his back flat, chest flat. So now his arms can work out in front of his body with no effort. And he can move. We were doing, he's a third baseman, so doing, drop steps and, working on backhands and moving lateral. It freed him up. Within about 1 minute, he was blown away. He's going, man, this is amazing. Wow, it feels great. I said, not only does it feel great, it looks great. And that was one minor adjustment. Posture, 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 posture. Know your posture, own your posture, but you can't do it. You can't own it unless you know it. And the posture holds that you're going to have, the 10 posture holds, it's about mastering them and then doing them over and over, building your memory, creating your memory, and then having that memory always to go back on daily so that your body does not have to think. Your mind does not have to think. Your body just responds because you put the memory in. You go down that backhand, open stance, backhand, lateral backhand, closed stance, open stance. Doesn't make any difference. You're in posture. You know what happens? You're in posture. The body works for you. Efficient, athletic efficiency. Athletic efficiency. And I was thinking about this concept today when I was riding. I like to work out and I like to ride stationary bike. And today I was doing a stationary bike, and I was thinking, I want you guys to think about this idea. Think about this idea. Have you ever ridden a bike that's too small for you? Right? The seat's too low, right? The seat's too low, the cranks are too short, okay? The frame's too small, whatever it might be, okay? It's too small, you're cramped, okay? Well, that's a guy who's plays too low, okay? So we'll take that guy and we'll put him on the starting line of the race, okay? We'll put him on the starting line, okay? And then we'll take a guy where the seat's too high, okay? Seat's too high, the bars are a little far away because the frame's too long, okay? So you got that guy, his knees are almost locking out, okay? He's reaching for the bars, okay? And you put that guy on the starting line. And then you put a guy who the seat's just right, the frame's just right, everything is just right. So now as he pedals, he's able to stay in posture. His hips are high. The knees are working with freedom. right? Easy, athletic efficiency of movement. One's too low, one's too high, and one is just right. And the guy who's just right is going to run the race no matter what. Now, the guy with the low seat or the high seat, they still can make plays. They still will get to the finish line, but it's not going to be as good. And the question is how good do you want to be? And so when you do these posture holds, I want you to take tremendous pride in details. We talk about it often. What kind of car are you? What kind of car are you? Your body is the vehicle. So if you're a Bugatti for a couple $1 million, you pay attention to detail. So identify yourself as a fine automobile. And as you set up in those positions, just think of yourself, precise engineering. Pay attention to the 212. Water boils at 212, not 211, 1 degree of separation. Pay attention to the 1 degree. Pay attention to it. Do your posture holds over and over and over and over and over. And when you get to the game, now it's the art of fielding, because now you simply can flow, free flowing motion like water, dancing with the ball, enjoying it, not trying to catch it, hoping to catch it, but rather dancing with the ball with precision, because you've put the time in to build the memory. So now when you play, you can be like a Robinson Cano who I watched last night in the Caribbean World Series. Robinson is smiling, turning double plays like he's not even trying. He's turned like 3. It's just so easy. It's because of the work. It's the work. It's the process. It's building it and putting the work in. So put the work in. Enjoy week 16. We also have a play of Tim Anderson. And I want you to notice Tim Anderson's feet, how ridiculously explosive he is. Now, he is like a 3-8 home to first. That's like a world-class runner. He's one of the fastest guys in the major leagues. So if you put him on a 60, he's probably a 6'1", 6'2" range. That's like world-class. It's unheard of. And I want you to see his feet, and I want you to see the explosiveness, the easiness as he moves, okay? And see that like as a benchmark. Will you ever be Tim Anderson? Probably not. There's not too many humans that can move like Tim Anderson. But the point is this: when you think about being a professional, when you think about being a Division I player, when you think about just reaching your ceiling, look at his feet and say, I want to be like that guy. And that's going to motivate you to do your infield yoga. It's going to motivate you to do your ladder work, jump rope, right? Your plyometrics, right? Your dance movements, okay? Your cone work, right? SQC drills, speed, cone, speed, quickness, cone drills, okay? SQC. It's going to get you fired up. We're down here, Boca Chica in the morning. I mean, every morning there's just loads of players down there working in the sand, doing their cone work, working that lateral explosiveness. So notice his feet, amazing, okay? And enjoy this journey, enjoy this process. Understand it takes time. So don't put pressure on yourself. Oh man, I'm not like Tim. Well, of course you're not, okay? Tim is a rare human being, but have that vision in your mind, so you can say, hey, that's where I'm going, okay? And it's going to motivate you tremendously to get you working on a regular basis and be consistent. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and I don't think there's any questions because I've asked a couple times. We didn't see any on the screen. So if you got any questions here, you can fire one or two away here. And if I don't see them, we'll just close off and see you next time. Enjoy week 16. Closing comment on the IQ tests. I want you to understand that they're not easy. I'm not trying to make them easy. I'm trying to give you guys the deepest information. And as you learn that information, what happens is you're going to be above your years. That's the secret. So you might fail all the questions. And I would say a large percentage of you guys don't grade high on those questions. And I wouldn't either when I was your age. If I was anywhere from the age of 8 to probably 25 until I was a coach. So it's not about getting them all right. It's just about creating dialogue so you can start talking the game and start thinking about them, thinking about the answers, thinking about the questions so that it becomes a part of your IQ, your instinct, your feel. So don't sweat it when you're not getting A's on those tests, but learning that information is going to put you in a situation like my nephew Javen. Javen right now is at Oregon State as a freshman, and he started varsity baseball as a freshman at shortstop. He only weighed 135 pounds, so it wasn't like he was this physical, specimen. And he had 5 full rides before his high school season even started. So really coming out of 8th grade, and it was because of his feel. It was his feel and his understanding, his CSR, calm, slow, relaxed. He was calm, slow, and relaxed because of all the training that went into it when he was younger. And so when you get on the field, nothing speeds up. 5th gear suave, right? Slow is smooth. He was so smooth at that age, and he still is. So now he steps into Oregon State as a freshman. There's a guy is 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. That's 7 years of players right now are backed up in the Division One, at the Division One level right now. So he's rolls in there and he's got to win a job. He's got like 5 shortstops. He told me week 1, 5 shortstops. Well, how do you do it? He's not going to, he's not going to be bigger than them or stronger. He's not going to probably be more tools, but he's going to be smarter. He's a better player. So take advantage of those IQ tests, right? And utilize that information to talk baseball and to learn baseball. Guys, thank you for tuning in. And that was enjoyable. That was a good time. So that was, almost 1 hour. Woo. All right. So give you, there's a comment. Thank you, Nate. You're welcome. My pleasure. Absolutely. Okay. Check you guys out later. If there's any questions, I just saw a thank you. So if there's any other comments, throw it up. Otherwise, I'm going to farewell it and talk to you guys later. Okay, let me finish with the lead infielders mantra. Okay. And I'll say it 2 times. I want you guys to memorize this. The elite infielder is a high frequency player that comes to change the game. They compete with the fear nothing, fear no one. I can and I will. Francisco Lindor, I'm the best. Attack on every pitch attitude. They feel every ball, throw every throw, make every play with conviction because every play is made before it's made in their mind. That's the elite infielders mantra. I'm going to say it again. Do your best to write it down. Eventually, we're going to get it out to you guys in like a little plaque form that you guys can print and just stick it up in your room. And I'm also going to do them on audio where you guys can just click on your phone and just listen to me do it. I'm going to have a little accompanied music behind me, make it sound really cool. We're going to do that with a bunch of mantras that I wrote. Little mental game, get your mind right mantras. So elite infielders are high frequency players that come to change the game. They compete with the fear nothing, fear no one. I can and I will. Francisco Lindor, I'm the best. Attack on every pitch attitude. They field every ball, throw every throw, make every play with conviction because every play is made before it's made in their mind. That means they believe it before it happens. Get your mind right. Okay. Farewell, guys.